And I'm ready. For any mistake that's made, the teacher is here. We're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely ready to correct some of these incorrect answers that are going to be on this test.
All right, let's take a look at the GMs, everybody participating in this. Here's the top half of the draft, and we got stars on stars. Steve Smith Sr., Kurt Warner, MJD, and Dan Hanzus all selecting in this window. Aditi Kinkhabwala kicks things off with the Bengals, and you probably know who Joe Thomas is picking for. 17 through 32, Mike Garafolo's got the hat trick here with the Dolphins' 3 picks in round 1. Michael Robinson has the Seahawks covered, and our coaches, Brian Billick and Steve Mariucci, are ready to rock. So let's get this rolling with Aditi on the clock with the Bengals' first pick.
With the number 1 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select quarterback Joe Burrow. Burrow has the timing, he has the footwork, he has the accuracy, he has the arm strength, he has the smarts, and not least of all, he has the moxie. The Bengals didn't franchise tag A.J. Green or spend the money that they've spent in free agency to be irrelevant. In Burrow, they have a fearless and tireless player, one who has the potential to be an exceptional leader. And they also have a young man who's an Ohio native. Who better to lead Mike Brown's club into the next decade?
So Aditi goes with Burrow. She could have really made this thing wild, but showed a lot of restraint, thankfully not throwing the show into total chaos, DJ.
I love the pick. I think you'll have opportunities if you're the Bengals to get out, but I think to stick and pick, take the best quarterback in the draft is the smart decision. Joe Burrow is going to bring some swagger to this organization. Aditi mentioned the weapons he has. I think it's a great fit there for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
All right, then, Bucky, we have Charlie Casserly, our resident GM, picking for the Redskins at 2. He took Chase Young. So, look, 1 and 2, no funny business yet.
Nah, no funny business at all. This is the best prospect in the draft. And what I like about this is when you're picking that high, Ron Rivera talked about getting a high-impact player. Well, this is a gold jacket guy. When you think about Chase Young, his ability to rush the passer, create disruption, produce negative plays, it's everything that you want. The Washington Redskins are still on the page from the San Francisco 49ers blueprint. 5 number 1s on this line when you add Chase Young to it.
So Rivera gets the pass rushing stud in Washington. Now the Lions have the 3rd pick, which is where things really get started. And who better to make a statement than their former receiver, GMFB's Nate Burleson.
With the 3rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Derrick Brown, D-tackle out of Auburn. I'm going with Derrick Brown because he's an absolute beast, and he's going to be playing with grown man strength in his rookie season. By the way that he plays, by the way that he talks, he's going to bring some attitude as well. And that defense struggled last year. And I know everyone's saying go Jeff Okudah, but they addressed the cornerback position shortly after the season. They traded away Darius Slay. They brought in veteran quarterback Desmond Trufant. So if they shore up that defensive line, they can get after quarterbacks and make it easy on the back end of that defense. Matt Patricia is a defensive mind, and this guy is going to bring some defensive strength.
So Nate, pulling a fast one on us here, skipping over Okudah and going Derrick Brown, DJ. What do you think?
Well, Derrick Brown's a great player, and this defense needs a lot of help. I understand what Nate's trying to say there. I just think corner. When you look at this defense last year, last against the pass, 28th on 3rd down, to me the drop-off from Darius Slay to Trufant is tremendous. They need more talent in that back end, and Derrick Brown, as good as he is, he's not a premier pass rusher. That's not his thing. So I would have leaned more towards the corner on this one.
See, I'm not surprised that Nate made this pick with Derrick Brown. One, Derrick Brown is an outstanding player. They want to make sure that they can win on early down situations. And inside pressure is a quarterback's nightmare. And when you really look at the history of the organization, the Detroit Lions haven't selected a corner in the 1st round since 1998 with Terry Fair. This is not a surprise. This is the franchise sticking to what their blueprint has always been.
They haven't won since 1998 either, Buck. They haven't.
Hey,
won
I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that's what they do.
Nate, very on brand here, denying a cornerback, but we'll move on to the 4th pick. Kim Jones selecting for the Giants, and she goes with Tristan Wirfs to help out Daniel Jones. Bucky, what do you think of that pick?
Oh, I love the pick because I think this is right in line with how Dave Gettleman likes to build his team. Big guys up front. And Tristan Wirfs is a rock-solid prospect. Great athleticism, lit up the combine. And then when you turn on the tape, he moves defenders off the ball. If you're Dave Gettleman, you know that you can go to Iowa and get someone who's been well schooled by Kirk Ferentz. I think this is a solid pick for the New York Giants.
So Dave Gettleman gets a big guy there for the trenches. All right, we move on now to our 5th pick, his first of 3 in this round. Mike Garafolo up, picking for the Dolphins.
Mike Garafolo here playing the role of Dolphins general manager Chris Grier at number 5, and I select not a quarterback. I'm taking an offensive tackle here. Mekhi Becton from Louisville, 6'7", 364 pounds. Whoever takes Becton is going to hope that the weight stays around there because he's got a huge frame and he's got the athleticism to go with it. But if the weight starts to get out of control, then that's when you start to worry a little bit. But for the Dolphins, who are really trying to build that offensive line, yeah, I know they need a guy to stand behind it as well and start to throw the football around in places. But I don't get the sense that the Dolphins are desperate for quarterback. So I'm going to sit here and go with something that Gil Brandt tweeted out a couple of days ago, our NFL.com buddy, that he believes it'll be a position player, a non-quarterback. I'm with it. Mekhi Becton to Miami.
Jeezy right there passing on Tua and Herbert. Bucky, how do you feel about that?
I love it. I love it because if you're really staying true to the board and you take the best player available, I think you can make a case that Mekhi Becton is the best player available. And if you're the Miami Dolphins and you're trying to really gain ground on your rivals, make sure you have a rock-solid offensive line. Mekhi Becton is a big, imposing offensive tackle, a natural left tackle, massive, strong, explosive, does a great job showing that nastiness. This is a really solid pick for the Miami Dolphins, even though everyone on the outside is saying they have to go get a quarterback at number 5.
The good news is they have 2 more picks to do it. So we'll see if Garafolo goes there next. But DJ, I know you're excited about this pick because your radio partner, Matt Money Smith here, he goes and grabs Tua. I feel like that's going to be awesome for your broadcasts.
I think Matt's already been practicing the touchdown Tua line there. I know that's already something he's doing on a daily basis, but I love the fit here for the Chargers to get really kind of that point guard, that distributor. They've got plenty of weapons in that offense, and I think he matches up very well with them. You can see him in the backfield doing some run fakes with Austin Eckler, hitting slants to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I love the fit for the Chargers.
Some strong entertainment value there for sure for you guys coming up if you do get Tua for the Chargers. But we move on to number 7, and we got Steve Smith Sr. on the clock for those Panthers.
Steve Smith Sr. here, and I have the 7th pick with the Carolina Panthers. Hey, go figure. And who would that pick be? Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, linebacker. I believe this is a great pick for them because last year in 2019, they were ranked 23rd defensively. Years prior, they've been ranked in the top 10 each and every year. With the unexpected retirement of tackling machine Luke Kuechly, I believe this pick can help them get back to the standard in which they've been under with former coach Ron Rivera, now with Matt Rule, who is an offensive guru. This will help their defense and allow some offense to have some mistakes.
Bucky, how can you not like the pick of a Swiss Army knife anywhere, really, but especially there?
Oh, I love the Swiss Army knife in Isaiah Simmons because Isaiah Simmons is going to give them a dynamic second-level defender. And everyone will talk about Matt Rule, but when you look at Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, very creative defense they ran at Baylor, does a great job of blitzing and bringing guys from all over the field. Well, Isaiah Simmons is built for that. When you watched him at Clemson, he played all over the place. He really is at his best when he's able to hunt the quarterback. I think this is a terrific pick for the Carolina Panthers. I like Isaiah Simmons rocking down in the Queen City.
This is a good start, too, for Matt Rule, for sure. All right, now we move on to the 8th overall pick. And my biggest question here is, will Kurt Warner be wearing his gold jacket for the Cardinals pick?
With the number 8 pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeff Okudah, cornerback, Ohio State University. Now, we were coming into this thing thinking at number 8 we were going to get a big offensive tackle to help our young quarterback in Kyler Murray. But with Jeff Okudah sitting there at number 8, we could just not pass him up. He was the highest player on our board. We believe one of the safest players in this draft, one of the most complete players in this draft. We believe this rounds out our secondary with Patrick Peterson and Byron Murphy. Now, Jeff Okudah, we believe we can have lockdown corners in a pass-first NFL. Love our pick. We believe that we may have got the steal of the draft at the number 8 pick with Jeff Okudah.
So, DJ, just when you think he's going to go offensive line, he pulls a fast one on you and goes corner.
Well, I like Kurt sticking to the board, right? The best available player, Jeffrey Okudah, who I think is a top 3 player in this draft, falls. You just take him. And he mentioned that secondary now with Patrick Peterson, Byron Murphy, who's a good young player, Budda Baker, who's outstanding. Now you've got a big-time secondary in a division where you're playing against the Niners and the Seahawks, who like to throw the ball all over the place with their weapons they have. So I like this move here by Kurt Warner. Take the best player.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the best player that is on the board. You also help Vance Joseph play the style of football that he wants to play on defense, a lot of man-to-man. So now you have Jeff Okudah on one side, Patrick Peterson on the other side. You have 2 big physical corners that are nice, solid technicians. I like the pick. I like the fit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it worked out the last time they selected a corner in the first round. They got Patrick Peterson, who's still there. All right, here we go. We are through the first 8 picks in our NFL Media Mock Draft. So no surprises, 1 and 2, Aditi and Charlie playing it straight there. Nate shakes it up a bit and goes Derek Brown over Jeffrey Okudah. And we see back-to-back offensive tackles come off the board. As it turns out, the Dolphins were not, in fact, tanking for Tua. Draftathon is almost here, the NFL's virtual fundraiser across all 3 days of the 2020 NFL Draft. Draftathon will help provide relief for all of those significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. You can watch it on NFL Network, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ABC, and join the effort by making a donation to NFL.com/relief today. Now back to our mock draft, and the mayor of Duval, MJD, is on the clock for his Jags with the 9th pick.
All right, with the 9th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, your Jacksonville Jaguars are going to select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama, the most polished route runner that we've seen in college in a long time, a very savvy route runner, knows how to get off a press man, can run and beat you on the deep ball as well as slants and hitches. Becomes a tremendous playmaker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, everyone's going to say, why Jerry Jeudy? Well, we could have gotten Chase Young if we moved up. Jeff Okudah right before us. Obviously, Derek Brown as well. Those are the top defensive guys we were looking for, but they weren't there. So we allowed Jerry Jeudy, the top receiver in the draft, to fall to us at 9.
And the run begins, Bucky. MJD from his bunker goes Jerry Jeudy for the Jags. How do you like it?
Oh, I like it because the Jaguars are in desperate need of a number 1 wide receiver. And Jerry Jeudy has all the tools to be that guy. Outstanding route runner, tremendous playmaker. He will become Gardner Minshew's best friend on the perimeter. And with DJ Chark emerging as a solid complementary threat, I like what the Jaguars are doing as they're putting together this wide receiver core.
So Minshew gets the polished route runner in the building there. At 10, Joe Thomas saw someone that might finally be able to replace him on the Browns. Literally some gigantic shoes to fill. Jedrick Wills, DJ.
I love this pick by Joe Thomas. I think Jedrick Wills is the 2nd best tackle in the draft. Now, he's played on the right side. I would imagine he will play on the left side for the Cleveland Browns. They signed Jack Conklin in free agency. But now you have really upgraded the tackle spots for Baker Mayfield. And Jedrick Wills, not only outstanding in pass protection, he can create some movement in the run game and works really well in space. So he'll fit Kevin Stefanski's new offensive scheme.
Okay, so Wills lands there with the Browns. Now picking at 11 for the Jets, he's the host of the Around the NFL podcast and power ranking czar. The old Zeuser, Dan Hanzus, is on the clock.
Dan Hanzus here with the Around the NFL podcast. With the 11th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. I did have my eye on the top 3 prospects at tackle in this draft class, but as luck would have it, Joe Thomas, one of the great tackles in the history of the sport, is picking for the Browns in this exercise, so I got dinged there. No matter. Lamb is a great consolation prize. Sam Darnold needs a chance. Give Sam Darnold a chance. And I think that's what Lamb does. He's a playmaker. You could pair these guys together for 5 or 10 years and make some magic. The line's better from free agency. Now the wide receiver parts are better. Go Darnold. And yeah, I'm a little bummed that my pick lines up with the latest Jeremiah mock, but that's life. Back to you, Colleen.
All right. DJ, let's just get it out there right now. You and Dan are a little bit of podcast rivals. So what did you think of his pick of CD and just like his overall attitude?
Well, first of all, I love the pick. I think he made the right pick. I thought it was impressive that he was able to come to that conclusion basically just by reading my mock draft. So well done, Dan. And I do want to compliment on his look because he looks like he should be working at a mall kiosk with his T-shirt jacket combination. It is very sharp.
Don't do this. Don't put me in this position right now. Dan's not here to defend himself. I love Dan, and I think he's really rocking the background right now, too. All right, let's go to another receiver who's now off the board here at number 12. MJ Acosta takes Henry Ruggs III for the Raiders, Buck.
Oh, I love it. And the late Al Davis would love this pick because this is all about speed and being able to score points. And the one thing that the Raiders would love to be able to do, stretch the field, throw it over the defense's head. Henry Ruggs can do that, but he's more than just a one-trick pony. He has the ability to turn short gains into big plays. His overall explosiveness would add a dimension to the Raiders' offense.
Okay, so he goes to the Raiders. Now to the team that's really the only team in the Bay Area now, the 49ers, who traded DeForest Buckner to the Colts for this pick. And Steve Mariucci, you are on the clock.
Steve Mariucci here, and I have the 13th pick of the draft for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, they're one of the 5 teams that have multiple picks in the first round with number 31 as well. In this first round, I got to get a starting wide receiver and a starting corner. Those kind of guys that come in and compete. Well, I'm looking at the top 3 receivers. Lamb, Judy, and Ruggs are gone already. So I'm going to go and look at my corner list, and I see C.J. Henderson from Florida. And I think he's a guy that, Richard Sherman is getting up there in age. He's going to be around, but they need a guy on the opposite side and a lot of good quarterbacks in that division. So I'm going to take C.J. Henderson from the University of Florida. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Mooch. DJ, what do you think about this, grabbing C.J. Henderson for the Niners?
Well, it's just trying to improve upon the strength of this team. I think they're the number 1 pass defense in the league last year, but they do need to get a little more athletic in the back end, and that's what C.J. Henderson gives you, a tremendous athlete. The knock on him, the tackling was not good, but I believe the culture there with Coach Saleh, they'll be able to get that out of him in that regard. I think if one of those top 3 receivers were there, they would have taken him, but in this scenario, they all were off the board. So I'm okay with this pick by Mooch.
Yeah, it's a great pick too, considering that Richard Sherman is in the final year of his deal as well. So now the Bucs, they're up next, and Peter Schrager, who's all over this draft, massively plugged in, picks Andrew Thomas to protect Tom Brady, Buck.
Oh, Colleen, this is all about playing chess. And the first thing you learn about chess, protect the king. Well, the king is Tom Brady. Andrew Thomas helps them build a fortress in front of Tom Brady. So now he can throw comfortably. If he throws comfortably, he is going to hit a pair of dynamic playmakers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I like the pick. I like Andrew Thomas having to come over and really be that blindside protector.
Protect the king is right. And let's go to the king of Denver for the 15th pick. He's got great hair and even better insight, James Palmer.
I'm James Palmer, and with the 15th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select LSU wide receiver Justin Jefferson. New offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur loves to have 4 options for his quarterback. They have an emerging star in Cortland Sutton at wide receiver, a young, talented tight end in Noah Fant, who Shurmur loved coming out of the draft. They get Melvin Gordon to catch the football out of the backfield in free agency, and Jefferson completes this foursome, someone that they did a lot of work in the pre-draft process looking over, Colleen.
James, the zig when we all thought that you might zag going Justin Jefferson, Bucky.
Oh, I like the pick because Justin Jefferson is the best slot receiver in the draft. And when you watch him work, man, he gets open against anybody. Man coverage, zone coverage, blitz. He understands exactly where to be. And more importantly, I like his IQ, I like his toughness, and I like the fact that he is a consistent chain mover. I think he is going to elevate Drew Lock's game.
Yep, he adds a wingman there for Courtland Sutton. Then Steve Wyche playing the part of Thomas Dimitroff for the Falcons. At 16, he selects defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw, DJ. How do you feel about that pick?
Well, it's tremendous value. I think he's one of the 10 best players in the draft, and trying to get some pass rush, he's going to give you that. And I think Kinlaw is going to be a better pro than he was at the college level. When you look at the length that he has, you saw him at the Senior Bowl those first couple days. He dominated. I think this is a great need pick, and I also think it's a great value pick here for the Falcons.
Yeah, Wyche, he couldn't pass up on that talent that was there. So great job so far. We got 16 picks already in, but a lot more to go on Mock Draft Live. A look at who's been taken in the top half of our NFL Media Mock Draft. Matt Money Smith has Tua going to the Chargers after Mike Garafolo chose to build up front with the speedy 369-pound offensive tackle Mekhi Becton. And 9 through 16 here, Jerry, Jedrick, Justin, Javon, all off the board, as well as the top 3 receivers going to the Jags, Jets, and Raiders. So, without further ado, let's get to the 17th pick. Our own Dallas star, Jane Slater, is on the clock.
With the 17th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select LSU edge rusher K'Lavon Chaisson. Now, Chaisson told me that a lot of players struggle with the weight and the attention that comes with the star on the helmet, but he welcomes it. And with the departure of Robert Quinn to the Bears in free agency, he's the type of player that's capable of being a plug-and-play one who could play on the right side of DeMarcus Lawrence.
So, K'Lavon Chaisson to the Cowboys, Bucky.
Oh, this is all about Jerry Jones fitting his sweet tooth. He has a sweet tooth for these long, rangy, athletic pass rushers. K'Lavon Chaisson is very, very talented, does a great job of jumping off the ball, explosive quickness, hasn't necessarily produced to his talent, but he has a ton of upside on the opposite side of DeMarcus Lawrence. He could end up being a star.
Okay, so Jane has Chaisson going to Dallas. Now the Dolphins are up again and back in the spotlight where he belongs. Mike Garafolo's on the clock.
Mike Garafolo back again with the Dolphins at number 18. Look, my plan was to go tackle. I did that at number 5 with Mekhi Becton and then come back and take Jordan Love. Well, Justin Herbert is still sitting out there. So I'm going to take the Oregon quarterback at number 18. Who knows? Maybe it'll wind up being the guy at 5 and I'll have been wrong about that one. But I feel pretty good sitting here the way this draft fell to get Herbert. The questions with Herbert coming into the offseason were, could he really establish himself as a leader, make it clear that he could be a guy that could command a room and get teammates to follow him? He did that at the Senior Bowl, and he's done it in his interviews. I think Herbert is a fantastic selection, frankly, here at number 18.
I like it. Jeezy thinks that he made a fantastic selection because he did. Justin Herbert to the Dolphins. Let's talk fit and expectations, DJ.
Well, I like it, especially, gosh, in this scenario, to get him all the way down here where they got him. I don't see how that could ever happen. But when you get somebody like Justin Herbert, we talk about the boxes that he checks, the size, the arm strength, the athleticism. That's what you see. The things that I've heard from teams that have met with him, talked about how intelligent he is, talk about how mentally tough he is, from talking to the coaches at Oregon. So, look, he needs to throw with more anticipation. He needs to let it loose and be a little bit more aggressive. But there's a lot to work with Justin Herbert, and I think he's been beat up a little unfairly through the process.
I agree with you, DJ. He checks off a lot of boxes. He's experienced, he's athletic, he has tremendous arm talent, and he is a leader. Remember, he led a team that was a sub-500 team when he stepped into the huddle, and when they finished, they were Pac-12 champions and Rose Bowl champions. There's something to having a level of resiliency and grit, particularly in a turnaround situation like it would be in Miami. I think this would be a good fit and a good pick for Miami if he happens to be there in the middle of the first round.
Well, that's the key, if he still happens to be there, because in our mock draft exercise, we weren't allowed to trade anybody. So let's just say that Herbert makes it past the Chargers at 6. Who do you expect to come up and get him, Bucky?
I think the team that took him in the mock draft will be the team that moved up for him. If they did decide to kind of orchestrate a strategy where they took best player available at 5 and then they wanted to come back and get the quarterback, I think the Dolphins would be right to trade up and get Justin Herbert in the middle of the first round. When I look at him, he fits and checks off a lot of boxes for what I think the job description is based on the way Miami plays. I think they would be the team that would have a lot of interest in Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and I look, Buck, at a team that's not in the first round, maybe coming all the way back in. Now, they wouldn't go up into the top 10, but the Indianapolis Colts with 2 second-round picks, if Justin Herbert started to drift and gets near the 20 range, they have plenty of ammunition to go up there and get him. Phillip Rivers, 38 years old, only going to play for a year or two. To be able to get his successor at that point in time would make a lot of sense there for the Colts.
Yeah, that's a nice pick there for somebody to kind of sit behind Phillip Rivers and develop. I mean, what a guy, what a teacher to have there. Okay, got to get back to the picks here. MJ Acosta, she grabs Trayvon Diggs for the Raiders. So, Bucky, what are your thoughts on that pick?
Another guy from a blue blood program. When we look at the Raiders the last couple of years, they've taken guys from winning programs. Trayvon Diggs certainly comes from Alabama. He's been well-schooled under Nick Saban. He's long, lean, athletic with good ball skills. He could fit the way they want to play on defense.
All right, Trayvon Diggs off the board there. DJ MJD's back on the clock for the Jags and takes corner AJ Terrell from Clemson after they traded away Jalen Ramsey to the Rams last year, so this makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of people think they could go corner potentially with their first pick. In this scenario, MJD gets the receiver, you come back with the corner. I like A.J. Terrell. He's long, he's athletic, he plays the boundary corner, which means he's on the short side of the field. They'll blitz him. He's outstanding in that area. He got beat up a little bit in that LSU game against Jamar Chase, but on the whole, I like his ability and I like his fit there in Jacksonville.
I'm just kind of sad that we didn't get another MJD video from his bunker, but oh well, I guess not. Love you, MJD. Daniel Jeremiah unveils his final first-round mock draft right before night one of the 2020 NFL Draft. Don't miss it. That's coming up Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on NFL Network. And now for one of my personal favorites, someone who I think is great and has a real grip on reality, selecting for the Eagles at 21.
Thanks, Call. By the way, you're doing great, sweetie. Big fan. All right, so after consulting with my top advisors, Gary and Glenn, we've decided that even though the Eagles have a massive need at the wide receiver position, because the top guys are already off the board and this draft is so deep at that position, we're going to wait and we're going to do something that the Eagles usually never do in the first round. So, Bruce, without further ado, the envelope. Bruce? Okay. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles select. Oh, ripped it, but that's okay. Patrick Queen, linebacker, LSU. Welcome to Philly. Go off, Queen.
Someone is really shining, I think, during all of this social distancing. I think I'm taking it really well, guys. So what do you think of the pick? Maybe we just talk about the pick.
I think they ought to take your advice. Why not take your advice? You got a great player there, great value with Patrick Queen. Colleen, I know everybody says the Eagles never take linebackers, and I know they haven't, but they haven't needed the position. And Buck, in this scenario, when you look at what's there with Jefferson gone, the top 4 wide receivers gone, I think Colleen and the tuxedo shirt made the right call here with Patrick Queen.
Oh, she absolutely made the right call. I'm sure she got some advice from someone standing outside of a local Wawa. But look, give Patrick Queen a tasty cake, introduce him to the city of brotherly love. I think it would be a great fit there in Jim Schwartz's defense. He can run and chase, he can blitz, he can do a lot of intriguing things. He'd be a nice little toy for Jim Schwartz to have.
Yeah, see, look, I like that you guys like my selection. This show is already one of my favorites. Perfect. Let's move on, though. We can't just talk about Philly and Patrick Queen the whole time. The 22nd pick, Tom Pelissero, he takes Yetur Gross-Matos there for the Vikings. So how do you feel about this one, DJ?
Well, getting more pass rush. You know, I thought a lot of people looking at wide receiver and corner for the Minnesota Vikings. In this scenario, they go get an edge rusher. So I think it's kind of building on the strength of your football team. I would imagine they're going to have a tough call with their next pick, though, whether they address wide receiver with Diggs being gone or whether they address that backfield.
That's true. All right, at 23 here, Bucky, Mike Giardi selects Alabama safety Xavier McKinney for the Patriots to go along there with Devin McCourty.
An ideal traffic cop to play alongside Devin McCourty. He's smart, he's tough, he's an excellent communicator, does a great job of coming in the box and stopping the run. And when you look at the safeties that have played well for them, they're tough guys, they have excellent communication skills. He fits the bill.
I can already hear fans a little upset about the fact that they're not taking a quarterback in the first round, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. The Saints, they are on the clock and here to make the big decision from around the NFL. He's also my neighbor, Greg Rosenthal.
With the 24th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Denzel Mims out of Baylor. His athleticism just jumps off the screen, maybe the best in this class. His ball skills are unbelievable, and this is a win-now season for these New Orleans Saints. Probably Drew Brees' last year. I think Sean Payton can come up with a plan for Mims to be a factor right away, especially in the red zone. I thought about T. Higgins at this pick, but I looked at Daniel Jeremiah's prospects top 50 on NFL.com. I decided, what would DJ do? And then I just did the opposite.
A surprise and a shot for you, DJ.
Wow. I know. I'm just surprised that I've never seen a 12-year-old be able to grow that thick of a beard. That's what I just can't get out of my head. That's amazing. That's got to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. But no, look, I like the pick, Greg. You get a big-time athlete. This New Orleans Saints team does not have many needs, so they can go cherry-pick a guy they feel that fits what they do offensively. And this gives them somebody on the outside that can go up and get the ball down the field. So despite my ambivalence to the man making the pick, I'm okay with the pick.
Hey, you guys out there can check out the Around the NFL podcast if you want to hear more from Greg and Dan. All right, DJ, in case you guys are keeping score at home right now, here are the last 8 picks. Heavy on the defensive side of the ball. Only Justin Herbert to the Dolphins and Rosie's pick of Denzel Mims on the offensive side. 3 additions to secondaries in Vegas, Jacksonville, and New England. And another defender goes to the Vikings. Tom Pelissero taking Jalen Johnson at 25, Buck.
Yeah, I like Jalen Johnson. And when I look at Jalen Johnson, he is kind of Mike Zimmer's style corner. He's physical, he's nasty, very, very competitive, outstanding ball skills. Look, he played through an injury this year, which shows his toughness. He's the right kind of guy to work up in Minnesota.
Okay, so Tommy P coming in there with the second pick for the Vikings. Then DJ, the Dolphins' third pick of the first. So this is the final act here for Mike Garafolo. Takes another lineman to protect Justin Herbert, Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah, they've got a chance to just go offense here with these 3 first picks. This offensive line was terrible, so addressing it, I think, is a good idea. Now they're going to have to use some of the other picks down the line to address the defense. But I like the idea of trying to get that offensive line in much better shape, and Cesar Ruiz is the top interior lineman in the draft.
And the linemen go back-to-back, Bucky, with real Mike Robb selecting tackle Austin Jackson to the Seahawks.
Oh, he knows Pete Carroll loves his SC guys. Austin Jackson is a natural left tackle. Nice feet, great balance, good body control. He's a very, very talented player. And the fact that he had to play through a surgery that he had in July and play at the level that he played at, I think his upside is through the roof. He will solidify the left side of the line for the Seattle Seahawks.
And DJ coming in at 28, Coach Billick takes A.J. Epinesa from Iowa for the Ravens, who really need some pass rushing help.
Yeah, and he can rush from outside or inside. He's big and strong and heavy on the edge against the run, which the Ravens have always valued. But now you could get in a situation where on sub downs, you have Calais Campbell, who they just added, A.J. Epinesa, and Matt Judon all lined up together. That would be a big-time pass rush group there for the Ravens.
The draft is almost here, and that means Draftathon Live is about to go down April 23rd through the 25th in support of COVID-19 relief. Rich Eisen will have a slew of guests, celebrities, athletes, all sorts of surprises. It all starts this Thursday at 7:30 Eastern, live on NFL Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and on YouTube. Okay, the time has come for the final few picks in our mock draft. With the 29th pick, the Titans are on the clock, and so is our friend from GMFB, Titans superfan Kyle Brandt.
Okay, pick number 29, the Tennessee Titans. They have what a lot of teams are looking for, identity. Identity being Taylor Lewan, Derrick Henry, Jack Conklin is gone. Let's see if they do something with the pick to make up for that. May I have the pick, please? Thank you, my son. Bye-bye. With the 29th pick of the NFL Media Group, only the Titans get to do it. The Titans select Isaiah Wilson, offensive lineman from Georgia. I'll say goodbye shortly. Love Isaiah Wilson, big, powerful, helping what they want to do in the running game. And if you want a treat, go watch his high school highlight film. He played in the Wildcat. Great athlete. DJ, I'm pretty sure you would agree he can move the sticks. Back to you, Colleen Bucky. What a wonderful household.
Oh my God, Kyle Brandt coming from his very serene home in New York. Bucky, let's break down that pick of Isaiah Wilson.
Hey, look, Isaiah Wilson is a mauler brawler, so he certainly fits the mentality that the Tennessee Titans display when they're running the ball. However, this is a little rich for me. It's a little early. I know there are a lot of people that like him because he's big, he's physical, does a great job of moving. The inconsistencies trouble me. He may go in the first round, but man, I just don't know if he's necessarily a first-round talent.
Okay, so we go from top dad to one of our top ladies here for the 30th pick and the Packers. Stacey Dales is going with a fellow Sooner here and Kenneth Murray to lead that defense from the linebacker position, DJ.
Yeah, I love this pick. Stacey nailed this one. This is not a homer pick either, going with their Oklahoma Sooner. Kenneth Murray, not only what you get as a player with the speed, the range, the ability to cover, the ability to blitz, but you get the leadership and the intangibles that he brings. I mean, the teams rave about him when they've had a chance to visit with him. I talked to folks at Oklahoma who said this is one of their 3 all-time favorite kids they've had in the program. So I think it's a home run pick by Dales.
I feel like every pick by Dales is a home run pick. So good move by you. Okay, second to last pick here. We go back to the 49ers with the 31st pick and Steve Mariucci from his library with so many leather-bound books.
Okay, Mooch here now for the 49ers on the 31st pick of the draft. We already took C.J. Henderson on the 13th pick, got a corner. Now I need another receiver. We lost Emmanuel Sanders. And Deebo Samuel was a great rookie last year, and George Kittle's a great tight end, but I need some more weapons for Jimmy G. So I'm going to go with a taller receiver. A lot of receivers in this draft. T. Higgins from Clemson. He's almost 6'4", and he can go up and win that 50-50 ball. Pretty darn polished and very productive wide receiver. So now the 49ers are going to have really improved. They have a great team, so you can pick with needs right now to get them over the hump. Another corner, another receiver, what they get in the first round. T. Higgins from Clemson. Welcome to the Niners. Back to you guys.
Okay, Mooch, so T. Higgins goes to Kyle Shanahan's offense, Bucky. I'm sure Niners fans like that. Do you?
Yeah, he's a stretch wide receiver. He's a guy that can make some plays down the field. Even though people are talking about his 40 time, he is at his best when he's really working as a vertical stretch player. He's the guy that can dominate with 50-50 balls, puts the ball in the paint, scoring touchdowns. So yeah, I can see him being a guy that is certainly in the conversation at the bottom of the first round.
And a need for sure with Emmanuel Sanders now in New Orleans. All right, guys, we have one pick left. The 2020 virtual NFL Draft kicks off this Thursday. You can check it out at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network to see where all 4 of these faces land. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love. And now the time has come for the final pick in our NFL Media Mock Draft. The queen of the mornings here at NFL Network, Kay Adams, on the clock for the Chiefs.
Hey everybody, it's Kay Adams from Good Morning Football. Welcome to my war room setup, a shoebox, my niece who's a Chiefs fan helping me make this pick. At 32, I'm taking Grant Delpit out of LSU. Same sort of versatility as Tyrann Mathieu, who is already there. They both were number 7 at LSU. He'll learn a ton. Spags will get the best out of him, and we will have an even more improved secondary for the Super Bowl champs. He's being taken at 32. He could end up being a top 10 talent in this draft class at the end of the day. So I'm going to say, yeah, let's do this thing. Congratulations, Chiefs.
So Kay wraps it up. All picks are in, all 32. I honestly, my biggest surprise is the fact that we were able to pull this off. What about you guys?
Well, we pulled it off, so now the teams have no excuse. They have to be able to pull it off as well, Colleen. But to me, the biggest surprise, I'll go Isaiah Wilson with the Titans in the first round. I don't think it's a surprise he goes in the first round. I'm hearing a lot of that chatter as well. I just think it's a surprise based off the evaluation. I thought he was more of a second or third round player, but there is a premium placed at tackle, and this is a great example of it.
Yeah, DJ, I was also surprised by Isaiah Wilson, but the biggest surprise to me is Jordan Love falling out of the first round. And the reason I'm surprised is because most of the conversation leading up to draft day has been Jordan Love potentially being a top 10 pick based on his talent and based on the Pat Mahomes comparisons. It's funny to me that now as we get closer, maybe the buzz isn't building on Jordan Love like we thought. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out on draft day.
Well, I'm also surprised that you guys could not hear my neighbor's wind chimes through the window that's next to me, and also the fact that we were able to finish this draft in about an hour with all of the moving parts and all of the people involved. Thank you to everybody who participated in this thing. And guys, you can check out the actual real draft coming up finally this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, ESPN, and ABC.